Hey everybody, it's JJamJim, or Triple J, and welcome back to another tutorial video here in City Skylines. Today, we're going to cover the topic of terraforming. Terraforming can be used in a variety of ways in your city, and it's a great tool to have in your pocket to create a diversity within your city and to just sort of create an organic, natural feel to some elements. I get asked a lot about terraforming and how to do it, how to effectively execute it, where should I put it, different things like that. So I'm going to show you 5 simple ways we can do that. And let's get started. Today we are on the Two Rivers map. This comes in the base game of City Skylines. I do have some mods installed, but they are all mods that come with the game. They are unlimited money, unlimited soil, and I also have unlock all. So I have all 9 tiles unlocked just because I needed to have some rail, so I figured I would just unlock it to show you some things. I also terraformed this to be pretty flat before we started because I wanted to show you some things over here, and I also terraformed this little mountain for example purposes later in the video. Under landscaping tools, terraforming, right? We have our 4 tools right here. If you don't know how to use them, I'm going to show you how to use them right now. The first one is shift terrain. This elevates and lowers it, right? And it's just simply stated, elevate by clicking with primary mouse button, lower by clicking with secondary mouse button. Very simple. Over here on the left-hand side, you have 3 different brush strengths. So your one bar will just create, it'll take a lot longer for you to increase the size versus if I do it with this, boom, it goes a lot quicker, right? So it gives you some variation to play with there. Now, if I right click over this, it just lowers it right back down. And it will keep going. It will keep going if you want it to. You also have 3 different brush sizes. You have small, medium, and large. Okay, so that shifts terrain up and down, up and down. The next one we have is level terrain. And just like it states, it levels an area. So you click with the secondary mouse button to choose a target height, okay? So we click on this. So let's say I want to flatten this out because I can see via the little contour lines that this is a little bit higher than our flat area. So what I'd do is I'd go over here, right click, and now it's set. I don't have to hold right click, I don't have to do any of that. I just click right click one time, and now if I left click over this, it will just make all of this flat. The next one is soften terrain. It just softens the terrain. So what that means is, let's say, let's say I built a very, very steep mountain peak. And you're like, I'd like to soften it. I'd like to kind of widen it a little bit, make it a little, a little not so weird looking, right? Oop, we did a little autosave there. All you gotta do is, you don't have to right click anything. All you gotta do is click on it, and it lowers the terrain depending on your strength. But it also, see how it sort of brings, as you come down, it sort of brings this terrain up and just sort of smooths it out. It just sort of creates wider contours to have a more sloped, slanted effect. So you can really just smooth that all the way down. The last one here is a very, very important one. This is a slope terrain. So much like using the leveling terrain, the slope terrain will also allow you to create a gentle slope. So let's say I have my jagged mountain here, okay? And I want to maybe make a ramp going up to this. Let's say I want to slope up to this, okay? So you can choose the distance that you want to have your slope start, okay? So if I start from down here, it will select this area, this general area, okay? And so you right click here, and then if I start up here and hold left click, you gotta continue to hold, that is key. Continue to hold, and I start to drag down to where I stopped, it will create a slope. Really nice slope. Now you can get a more exaggerated slope if you just go a little bit closer to the point that you want to go up to, or you can create a much more gradual slope. So let's say I did this again, but let's say I wanted a really, really gentle slope. I can right click over here, left click, and hold, and I could make even a more dramatic slope. Now, when you go past the point that you had right clicked, it will stop. It will not go any further. But you can widen it. that is an option you can do, but you have to make sure that you click and hold left click, because if I let go now, it's not going to continue to do the slope. You have to hold. But yeah, you can do it and make it as wide as you want, and then you have a really, really nice gentle grade to bring a road up to. Very, very handy. The first one I'm going to show you is a sunken highway. There are several different ways that you can do this in Skylines, but in vanilla, if you're playing vanilla, this is the easiest way I've found to do it, okay? So, but there are other ways. I'd love to hear the different ways that you do it. Again, remember, there are so many different ways to play this game, and I am not an expert. I'm just showing you how I would do it if I was playing. Okay, so what I would first do is decide, okay, well, I want this highway to come out and I want it to be sunken. Okay, well, how sunken do I want it? Let me just go and pick a height. So I'm gonna right click and hold. And you know, you kind of have to gauge. You're gonna want to be able to get a road over it, right? So it's a little bit of an eyeballing trick. You get the hang of it the more you do it, but I think that depth is about where I want it. So what I'll do is now I'll take the level terrain tool. I'm gonna put my cursor over, so you see those little 2 little arrows. That is where it's going to select your point, because that is the center of the cursor. So I'm going to right click here and I'm going to level it. And all I'm gonna do is simply bring this along, making a gap here, and you can get, now don't worry about it, because you can actually, you know, if I slip up and I go up a little way over here, it's totally fine, because I'll show you what we're gonna do to it later. But yeah, you're just picking a height now, okay? Just picking the height. Go up to about there. Okay, now I want to get the highway down in a gentle slope. Well, I'm gonna use my slope tool. I'm gonna go like here to here, and I'm gonna gently slope that down. Okay, now I'm going to go and grab my highway, and I'm going to just bring it down. Now, I may need to actually widen this a little bit more. It's okay, I didn't have the right thing there. Now, of course, I am using unlimited soil, so the landscaping tool right up here, the soil availability, is not being affected because I do have unlimited soil. So keep that in mind. Okay, so we're gonna bring that down and bring that through. Okay, now I have a sunken highway. All you have to do to put it back is just take your level terrain tool, right click on the higher point, left click and hold, and you can drag it all the way. It will not go over your road. It will go all the way up to your road. Okay, just like that. You can make it really nice and straight. Now, of course, if you're going to be putting on ramps and off ramps on here, you're gonna want to give yourself some space for that, and I can show you that as well. But okay, there we are. Now, it can look a little jagged, so what you can do is take your soften tool, just, you know, soften that back just a little bit so it doesn't look so drastic, right? So it doesn't look so drastic. And then that's a really, really nice little way to do that. Easy peasy. Now you have a sunken highway. Now you're gonna be able to take a road and go up with it, bring it across, let's say to about there, and then flatten it down. And there you are. I mean, that's there's a little bit of a bend in there, but you get the idea. That will work. You can perfect that, certainly. And there you go. Now you can have an overpass without raising your highway. And it's just as a nice little feature that you can have throughout your city. You know, maybe you have it all the way through. I don't know. It's a really, really cool little handy trick. And it's very, very simple to do. There are definitely other ways to do it. That is certainly one of them. Now, if you did want to use, to make an off ramp, what you can do is you're going to have to plan for this a little bit. But let's say you wanted to, you know, have an overpass, but have the lines come up and connect to here. Well, all you need to do is take your sloping tool. I'm going to use the small brush. Right click on the bottom, and then left click and hold, and slope down to your point. Now, in order to get a more gentle slope, you may need to bring your slope a little bit further from the road. But I think we're going to be okay with this, because you can always change it and perfect it later. But all that takes is just a little bit of that. Then you just grab your thing right here, go up, and something like that, and there you go. Now you have an exit. Now you have an exit ramp. And you would just do that for all the corresponding ramps. And, you know, you can bring this back in. You can, you know, bring that back in. Different things like that. You know, make it however you want. But it just kind of creates a nice little area there. Very cool. Okay. The second thing that we're going to show you for terraforming, the second way you can use terraforming, is creating a waterway. Now, this one's a little tricky because water is weird and finicky, but you can almost create a waterway or your own river within your city. Now, let's say we wanted to have a river just spouting off to here, just coming into our city a little bit because we want a natural waterway. So, take your tool, take the medium brush. Now, as you can see, the contour lines go all the way to the bottom here of the water. You can start to see it. So what we can do is grab a height and just start to dig into your area. Now, you don't have to go that deep. You could go a little bit more, but you're going to want to make sure that the height of it is about the height of where you want. You're going to probably also want to get rid of those trees, but you can delete all those later. But yeah, as you can see, the water will start to flow in. We may get a little bit of flooding. Yeah, you can certainly delete all these trees and things later, but that is essentially how you can create a river. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple. We're going to have some overflow, but don't worry. The water will start to settle and recede, and it should solve itself here. It's helpful, too, if you have a little bit of a current flowing, and you can kind of see that, but there's actually, yeah, it's a little bit of a current flowing there. Now, this looks like a disaster. It absolutely looks like a disaster, but don't worry. The water will calm down. It just freaked out a little bit because it had to go, you know, it was just like, wait, why is there something happening to me? But don't worry, it will recede. It will all start to sort itself out. Now, obviously, if you're going to create a river or a waterway, you could do that all the way through, but this would allow you to create ferry lane, like a ferryway through here, you know, have ferries move through the waterway, which just adds a little bit of element to your city, you know? Don't be afraid to change the terrain. The terrain is your friend. Okay, in Underpass. So, this is very similar to this, right? Very, very similar concept. But let's say I want to have a road come over this highway, but I don't want to put a bridge. I just don't. I'm just not feeling putting a bridge. Well, pause the game. Bulldoze the highway. Don't be afraid. Back it up. Give yourself some space. Grab your terrain tool. Grab the level terrain. Grab the shift terrain. Go down, just like you did before. Pick a height. That looks about right. Grab the level terrain. Right click. Hold. Give yourself a little path there for your road. Then give yourself a slope. Both sides. Grab your road, bring it through. There you go. Now that's your road, and then the highway will just go right under it. Or over it, excuse me. Take your highway, and what you're going to want to do is make sure that you have raise your road up to about level. Okay? Just have it, you know, line up as best as possible. You need to just leave it at that, and then down to there. There you go. Now we have a nice level terrain. Same thing on the other side. Level. There you are. The railway overpass. Okay, if you're like me, you might hate this. I really dislike when the rail just races up to a bridge to go over something and then comes back down. So I'm gonna get rid of this rail. I'm gonna back it up. Okay? And what I'm going to do is create a sort of fake mountain that it will go over. I'll show you what I mean. So I could underpass it, certainly. I could have the highway or the rail go just straight over and just lower the terrain a little bit more of the highway. But if I didn't want to do that, I wanted to do something a little bit different. What I'm going to do is raise the terrain to about there. Okay? Grab my level terrain, grab the height, make that terrain, do the same thing on the other side, slope the terrain down, real nice gentle slope on both sides. Grab my rail line that I don't have yet because I need to build a train station first. There we go, that'll unlock the rail. I'm going to bring my rail over. Okay, go to about there. That's nice and flat. Flatten it out, and then just reconnect it up. There you are. Now, that is quite nice because the rail has to increase up the slope, but it's not going up. It's working with the terrain, which I think is the better part, and it's just a better thing. And that's a personal opinion, but I just think it's better than just going like this and saying, okay, you know, there you go, rail, go up and down and then back down. I dislike this. So I choose to create this where I can because it just looks like it's working with the terrain. It's a reason for the rail to go up as well. Now, it can look a little funky, like out of place, but you can certainly exercise some things here to make that not look as dramatic, right? Like I could widen out this. I could create another mountain. Maybe I could raise this up. Maybe I could raise this up and it's you're creating a natural land feature. What it does is it sort of forces you to work with different heights, forces you to figure out different ways to do things and to create some natural landscapes in your city. So the Terraform tool is a really, really powerful tool, right? We can put some rocks around this, some foliage, make this really feel like very cool and very integrated into the environment. So yes, lots of ways to do it. Okay, and the last way, and sometimes can be the most trickiest, is the Switchback Road. So the Switchback Road is one that curves gently, sloping up a mountainside. So I built this mountain here from the beginning of the video, and I'm going to show you how to do a Switchback Road. So what you'll do is, let's say I want to take my main road, just a small road, and I want to get to the top of here because I think it would be really nice to have a little neighborhood up here. Okay, well, I want to get up, but I also don't want to just bridge because it's too slopey, and maybe I don't want to It's too slopey, and maybe I also don't want to make a tunnel. Maybe I just want to create a Switchback Road system. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my slope terrain. I'm going to grab the smallest tool, and I'm going to create a couple switchback lanes. So if my road is starting out here, I'm going to grab my lowest height, and I'm going to grab the, let's see, 1, 2, you can see the main thicker lines. That's where I usually like to grab from. So I'm going to grab this one and see how it just flattens that out. And I'm just going to slope it down to be flat. Okay? I'm just going to give myself a really nice gentle slope. And then I'm going to take my level terrain because you're going to need a little bit more room to get up to the next height. So I'm going to take the highest terrain right here that I want, grab it. I'm just going to give myself a little bit of room. Now, it might mean widening out your mountain a little bit, but that's okay. You can always finesse it later. But you want to get the road looking good first. That's the main key, okay? So I'm going to give myself just a little bit of breathing room to make my turn. Then I'm going to grab the slope terrain again, and I'm going to just eyeball another height here. And I think I'm going to go to about there, and I'm going to slope up to that. Okay. Very nice gentle curve, okay? The same thing over here. I'm going to take that top height, and I'm going to grab some more mountain, give myself just a little bit of room. It's going to be too much room, but you can always change it later. Grab my slope terrain again, and go up to the final height here. And it might be tricky. It might be a little tricky to do at first, but you know, just keep trying it. It's finessing it, different things like that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna give myself just a little bit of room up here. Okay, so now we have 3 different heights, and we have a way for our road to go up. So let's grab our road, bring it up to about there. See how that really, really nice gentle slope. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this other one, I'm going to go up to this. Then I'm going to take this one and go up to the top. Okay? Then I will go about the business of connecting them. And, you know, something like that. That's not bad at all. It's not too shabby. That could be a little smooth, a bit better, but it's not too shabby. Now you can go with this and do that. There you go. It's a very, very sharp turn, but it's a nice gentle slope. It's not too steep for cars to get up, and it's a really, really cool little thing to have in your city. Now, what you can do is, you know, now that you have it up, I can clean this up. I can add this back in. I can make this look a little bit more, you know, integrated. I can smooth stuff out so it doesn't look so dramatic. You can do different things, right? But once your road is in, you know, I could add a little, like, I could add a peak right here so, you know, cars aren't going to fly off the edge of the way or whatever, the edge of the road. You know, different things. You could put fences around it, add some rocks, some foliage, do different things like that. But yeah, everybody, that's going to do it. That's all I wanted to show you today and that was just 5 different ways that you can terraform inside of City Skylines. I hope you guys all learned something. If you enjoyed the video, please let me know down in the comments and let me know how you like to terraform. I'm always interested to see how different people do things here in City Skylines. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you in the next tutorial video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.